Hello, GL1 here, and this morning I want to share with you the Havex Machines toys. And when I first saw these in 2017, they reminded me very much of a 1970s, early 80s toy. The one reason is because the spaceship is large. A lot of toys back then were large, and there were a lot of space toys. And it's quite clever, the way, all the things that this does. However, there's some problems with it, and I believe that's why the toys went on clearance pretty quickly. And I got everything here at a clearance price, which was significantly, maybe 60% off. I believe this ship, the big blue spaceship, was about $60 when it first came out, and I think I got it for about $20, and it came with this exclusive machine here, and I'm going to show you how that transforms, and then it came with a little car. So the Havex machines would come in, the little cars themselves would come in a package like this, and this one is for the Star Blaster, and this one I actually did not get long back then. I got it recently off of Amazon. Paid a little bit more for it, but I like spaceships. And the one I cannot seem to find is the Strike Chopper, as far as being able to get that. But the box actually has a little, features of the spaceship. You know, how fast it goes, its firepower, agility, armor. So I guess you can take that into consideration when you're playing with it, and battling spaceships and things like that. What's interesting about this toy is they really tried to incorporate many different features into it. Transforming little tiny cars that are very similar to Micro Machines. It had magnets, firing missiles. So a lot of things were going on with this. And the big spaceship, I always like spaceships. So the big spaceship comes with these platforms, these rolling platforms, and then you could put your Havex machine on the platform, and then the platform had a little trigger here, and that would push your car forward. Okay, and presumably between the car getting pushed forward and the magnet in the front and back of the car, it would go up the ramp. There's a little ramp, you see the red ramp on your Havex machine, and transform it automatically. So let's watch that happen. Oh, no, it fell. Okay, well, oh my gosh, everything went wrong. But, all right, so the idea is the car will go up the ramp and then stay inside. It has a magnet, and then that will transform the machine. We'll have to show that again. One of the things, though, that didn't work too well with this toy was transforming things back and forth. They're very precariously held together by springs and little clips. So you see, like, here's a little clip, and everything is very carefully balanced. So in order to first put this back into its box form, okay, so you can see it's sort of like a pontoon boat. It's got like a gun here, and then you have your jet engines, and your rider would be inside the car, or the car's in here, and skimming across the water. But in order to transform this into the box, you have to take this and you hook it, these little hooks here, these little pegs, and you hope that it doesn't slide out, because this is spring loaded. And then you push everything together here, and then it moves out of place. And you have to hold things while you're moving other things, and then fold everything down. And then I accidentally moved that again. And see, it's not easy. And if little kids are playing with this with their little hands and trying to do this, you could see that that might be a problem. Okay, so there. Now you can see it's in its box form. All right, let's try this again. And this is actually the issue with it, I think. I think this is why it didn't sell well. As you saw, it transformed on its own. I didn't even get to it, and then putting it back together. So here we go. Okay, so see, it doesn't, there we go. And it went in the car, and now it transformed. And that's cool, right? I mean, that's a really cool thing that it transforms automatically, and it looks good. So that's the kind of creation that MGA designers put together. And then this, when it's in its box form, will fit inside here. And there's little cups inside here that these wheels sit in, so it doesn't keep rolling. And it has a little bit of some securing down. I think if they had a magnet, that would have been better. I mean, they put magnets in the little cars. Why not put a magnet to hold this thing in place? But let me show you how this big spaceship transforms. So right now, it's in its expanded form, okay? And it gets smaller. What's nice about that is it fits on the shelf better. So you can put these guns away, or lasers, and then these lasers as well. They snap in. And then here you have missile launchers. And if you push the button down, it fires a missile. So it even has that feature. They really included everything. And a lot of toys in the 70s and 80s had firing missiles. And so that snaps down, you know, and you see you have a wing up there, and that's got a spring on it. And then that pushes in, and then the whole thing pushes in like that. So looking at this spaceship, and popped out there. Let me show you how the ship is, some of the features on it. See, and sometimes spring-loaded things don't stay together. But you have, you know, like sort of fake hydraulics as if this whole thing would lift up. I think that's kind of cool. And actually, you see you have like a gun in the back, like one of the Flying Fortresses back in like World War II, those B-29s, B-17s. And it could fire from the back. Okay, so that also rotates and then stays in place. Let's put that back in. Oh, I see what happened here. All of it came out. That in there, and there we go. So there's the back of your spaceship, and then, you know, you can play with it and fly it around, you know, like that, and try not to have the platforms roll out, right? You don't want that to happen. Also, on this opens up, and what that's for is for the little cars. So every one of the Havoc ships comes with a little car, okay? All these little box ships, and I'm going to transform them all for you. And then you can take your car after they're all expanded, or however you want to play with it, and then they go and roll down in there. And so that way you have your automobile storage, and then you can store your ships. Now, the giant spaceship is only meant to hold 3 of these. So there actually were 7 Havoc ships made, and I guess some are like maybe 3 are good, or 3 belong with the spaceship and 3 don't belong with the spaceship, so they can battle each other. But the other thing you can do is in expanded form, and how you expand this ship, push this button down. Hopefully it works. It doesn't always expand all the way. There you go. Bam. And that's pretty cool. But sometimes you can take your little, when they're in box form, or even if they're in expanded form, and then you can, you know, just sort of like sit them in there. So now you can fit 5 ships comfortably on there. And you have to figure out which of the little ships in box form are going to fit inside there, because not all of them do. All right, so here is another one of these Havoc machines. And, you know, ooh, what's the mystery? What Havoc machine is this one? So let's take a look. And we're going to take one of our little cars that goes to this. And as you can see, again, you have the little ramp in the back. I'm going to push that, and hopefully it hits the trigger, and this one doesn't expand all the time that well. And again, it's a great concept in a toy, but it doesn't always work. And okay, so I made it work. I pushed it in, and now you have like a little bot, and he's got fists, and he's got little guns, and he's springy, kind of like boing, 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 and you can maybe pretend it. That's how it moves around, is jumping, like a kangaroo. And then to put this thing back together, so you take the car out, and then that locks in there, and then you try to take all these pieces and fold them in, and you have to hold them. Again, I don't know what age group they were going for with this. Maybe, 8, but I don't know how many 8-year-olds. I don't know if their hands would be able to fit with this, or even parents. I think it might be a little difficult for them to help. But still neat. I think it's neat. I just think, automatic transforming things are a bit difficult to handle, and that can happen. So you have to be very careful with it once it's in its box form. And so that might be a little frustrating too if you want it to stay, in its box form, and you're trying to move it around and it keeps popping open on you. But, I don't know, maybe that doesn't matter to somebody. All right, so then this one here. Now this one I know pops open very easily, so I have to be very careful with it because it'll pop open when you don't want it to. All right, let's take a little car and we'll roll it in, and there. That one does, it's very delicately held together, so your car goes in and it transforms into a jet. All right, so like a Skyjet, and it has, spring-loaded guns here too. And what in the world could this one be, right? So take one of these cars here, and there's our little platform. So you can, of course, do it without this doesn't really work that well, pushing the car forward. And is it going to make it go? No. So sometimes you have to manually manipulate it there. And now that turns into like a underwater sea spaceship that looks like a manta ray. And actually, I believe that is the name of it. It is the Mech Ray. That's right, it's the Mech Ray. So I think that's really cool, right? And then this one here, maybe you will find this one to be the coolest. All right, so cute little box, right? You zoom your car into here, and then boom, that pops open. And now you have a little walker. You have your guns, and and now you have your like little battle walking ship. And I guess if you were going to see which ones didn't get along, maybe it would be these two. They wouldn't get along so well. All right, and then lastly, I have one more. Now this is the latest mech ship that I got, and the vehicle that came with it was this little white SUV, which it looks sort of like a Dodge Durango, and it looks like a Lincoln Navigator or an Escalade, right? So, all right. And those lights, though, look like an Escalade lights, and so does the grill. So I would guess that's maybe what it is. All right, so here we go. Bam. And as per usual on our little spaceship here, the Star Blaster, this side does not pop open. It never has, and it's new. So that's not the problem. So, and there, you just pull that open, and then it opens up. So you can see you have your spring-loaded little wing tabs, your spring-loaded your laser guns, and your spring-loaded, I guess, jets in the back. And there you go. Your SUV is magnetically held inside, and then you can reach in and kind of push that out when you want to take it out. And then you can put that, store that in there. Now, transforming this back. Okay, so this is one of those that is a little bit difficult to transform back. And you have to pull this down, tab that. You see that spring load there? So that tab's in there, but we're not, that hopefully will hold. You got to push that in, push that in, push that up. That snaps in. That in, that in, that down. And then you do the same thing over here. All the while being careful not to hit the blue platform. Okay, and then this one doesn't always stay very easily. Tab that down. All right, there you go. And then you have it back in its box form. All right, and we can use a different vehicle. And then once again, this side does not pop open. So it's not going to fly too well. And it's not giving out much easily at all. And okay, so if you push on this little tab there, it pops open. All right, and there you go. You have your Skyjet. All right, so Star Blaster. All right, now the other part of what I want to show you is I want to show you how these toys are like other toys. So I hope you appreciate this. To me, it's a shame that it wasn't really accepted very well, but I can understand why, because it doesn't always work. It wasn't associated with a cartoon or anything. There's no storyline. And I kind of like that, though. Again, that's kind of very 1970s. Let's just make a toy. Somebody had a good idea. We thought, let's put it out there and see how it goes. And I think this is just a really neat idea, neat toy, and especially considering who designed it, the toy company that designed it. So I'm going to pause this and go get the other toys that are related to this. All right, so I'm back and I brought out a bunch of things and I want to show you how everything is all related. So the first thing you might wonder is, what does sushi have to do with the Havix machine toys? Well, these are not just like any sushi. Let me show you. And it pops open, and you have Sushi Warriors. And then we have Tofu Warrior and Shrimp Warrior. And we have the Eel Warrior. Let's tap on that. And, oh, he popped up almost all the way. And the Eel Warrior. And as you can see, their little faces on there. Now, this is a Japanese automatic transformer. It comes in a package like this, and it's some kind of game. It's in Japanese, so I have no idea. And I really not that interested in that part of it. It came with some kind of, I don't know, spinning thing or token of some sort. I really don't know what it is. But what I did like was just the fact that these little transformers are cute. And this comes off, and this becomes, the eel becomes a shield, and then that can turn up, and then you see that locks onto his hand there, and then he has a little weapon, and then that goes into his hand there, and there you go, your little sushi warrior. And much like that, the others do the same thing. So here we have Tofu, and then that comes off, and then in here is a little hammer. It looks like a meat tenderizing hammer, actually, with the little spikes on it. And then that goes on his fist. And then the hammer right in here. And there you go. And then that is Tofu. And not to be left out, but we have Shrimp, who doesn't want to be shrimpy. So that comes off. See that? It's pretty neat. And then that goes, I think it flips up this way. and push that on his fist. And then this is some kind of gun, and maybe if somebody has a shrimp allergy, this is doubly effective. So, and then that goes in there and there, causing allergies wherever he goes. So there you go, automatic transforming spring-loaded transformers. All right, so as you can see, that's similar to the Havex. These, I probably got these like 10 years ago. And the Havex were 2017, so that's, 5-6 years ago now. So that's that relationship. And then, you have the little cars with the Havex, right? And they are the same size as Micro Machines. And I have here a Hot Wheels track. Right? And these actually roll really well. And then this can come off, and it has little tabs here. And this doesn't come with it. This is actually a metal Micro Machine. The body is metal, but it also it's tab in there a little bit. Well, you know what? It doesn't match, but it does have tabs, so I guess it goes to a different Micro Machine. But as you can see, they're about the same scale. The Micro Machines do roll better, however. So, they're a little bit heavier, I think, and maybe the axles are just a little bit better designed. But what that's related to, I have these other Micro Machines, and these are Bugattis, okay? So, you have the Bugatti Divo, okay, and Hot Wheels made a Bugatti Divo. So you can see that. So you have Micro Machine Divo, Matchbox Divo, and then you have the Bugatti 1992 EB110, and I have a metal model of the Bugatti EB110, larger size, right? And the way this works is you have, you can open up in there. You have your front hood, your doors open. Take a look inside there. Pretty cool. We got the Bugatti nameplate down in there. So this is a 1991-1992 car, and it's very fast. The engine's in the back. They call these mid-engine vehicles when the engine's in the back, but I've always had a problem with that because it's not in the middle of the car, it's in the back of the car. But what it does do is it helps balance the car so that the weight ratio is more balanced between the front and back wheels, giving it better performance around corners. And this has also a suspension, but it's just a push toy. It doesn't have, it even has steering, and you can steer it from the steering wheel inside. But it's not, electric or anything like that. But it's just a nice model. And the EB110 was about anywhere between 553 and 603 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds, and went 209 miles an hour top speed. Those numbers, even today, are impressive numbers. I mean, this would definitely be one of the fastest cars on the road, and it's 32 years ago, and it looks really slick. So, it's a nice model of that. And the Bugatti Veyron, now, none of these are the Bugatti Veyron, but the Bugatti Veyron is similar to this, and I happen to have a Bugatti Veyron radio-controlled vehicle that I got from Walgreens, I think, and it even has a little spring suspension, and this was, I think, $10. You have a steering adjustment here. You can see how the springs work in there. Runs on 4 AA's and goes in all directions. It goes left and right steering, forward and reverse. Does not have a differential, so it's just the back wheels move together. And if you ever watch any of the STEM shows, that I've produced. The differential allows the outside wheel to spin faster than the inside wheel when going around turns. Now, the last comparison I want to do for you here is this spaceship here. This is Guardians of the Galaxy ship, and I think it's very similar to our Havix Machines ship here, right? It's similar. This one has lights and sounds. And then the flyby sound. You can open it up, and inside, falling over here, you have Star-Lord, and he can stand up, and the limbs move individually. And you have Gamora. Okay. And you have a third seat, but you do not have a third figure that was part of the crew that was made to go with it. There's no Groot, there's no Raccoon, and there's no Drax. And these two right now, to get those on Amazon, are $35. So crazy, because they were like $5 when they came out. And they come with a few couple accessories. But anyway, I'm glad to have it. I wish there were the other characters. But, you know, that's your Guardians of the Galaxy ship. And I think, you know, it's kind of cool. You can, you know, even pretend that your Havix Machine ship is that ship if you wanted, right? And most interestingly, I think, is that the company that brought you the Havix Machines is the same company that brought you Rainbow High, Bratz dolls, and the LOL OMG dolls. So, isn't that something? That the people that are known for making these kinds of dolls decided to make a toy, the Havix Machines, and go, hey, let's see how that goes. And unfortunately, it didn't go very well. So, you know, after there was the Bratz dolls, you know, and the Rainbow High success, and actually right now their most successful dolls are these, the LOL dolls. And, you know, they're pretty neat. I mean, the accessories and everything, some of them are expensive, but the prices are coming down. And I think that's because the new Monster High dolls are in the $25 range. And I think that's too much. But what it's done is, it seems to me that the MGA company is now producing LOL dolls that are in the $25 range that used to be in the $35 to $40 range, but they're selling them for $25. So that's good. Now this car has a special feature that I'm not going to show you on this show because I want to save it. But one thing that's cool about this car is you can push those down and push them and they come up. That's not the special feature. And then I bungeed her hair down. This comes out. And then you can flip this around, lock that in there, and they have a pool, so you can have a pool in the back of your car. Who doesn't want a pool in the back of their car? I guess you better be stopped or you're going to lose all the water. And you even have a cup holder, so you can have your cup holder here on the side of the car like that, or even you can pull your pool out and you can have your cup holder, squish that down on the side of the pool, so while you're chilling in the pool, or a hot tub, maybe it's a hot tub, you know, you can have yourself your drink right there. So I think that's pretty neat to see how all those things relate to each other, and I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.